Hey, Chaotic Crew, it's been a minute, but I'm back. It's Brian, and I've got another chaotic deck for you. This time, since spooky season is around the corner, I figured we'd take a look at one of the commanders for Magic's upcoming spooky set, and it's one we've had our eyes on for a bit, Toby, Beastie Befriender. A very fun card here, mono white commander. When Toby enters, create a 4/4 white beast creature token with this creature can't attack or block alone, and then as long as you control 4 or more creature tokens you control have flying. So you really want to be doing two things with Toby, which is making tokens and blinking, which is why I named it Toby Learns to Close His Eyes. He's kind of scared in the set, understandably so, right? It's a terrifying place to be, but we want to blink things and we want to make tokens, and the 4/4s that Toby makes are really good, but they have to have something to attack with it, so we've got some fun little neat tricks in here as well. Let's just dive right into what the game plan is. Right, first we got to make a token. So when these cards are generating tokens, Archangel Elspeth really good at making 1/1 soldiers, right? Super good to play the turn after Toby and get either a soldier, or you can even -2 Elspeth to give Toby 2+1/+1 counters, give him flying, make him more evasive so he can attack in with the token he made last turn. So definitely good there. And can also return all non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, which isn't as great as the first two abilities, so you're really running this for that early value. Next card that's also fantastic, one of the best cards from Bloomborough, Caretaker's Talent. You're going to be drawing cards, which is really what mono white wants, right? And then you can make copies of the 4/4s, which is very good. And then later on, when you have lots of tokens, it can turn into a big anthem when you don't have anything else to stick your mana into. So definitely solid there. Court of Grace, just a fantastic card. Also a little bit of card draw as well if the Monarch sub-theme. And because your commander helps make the tokens a bit evasive, you can easily get the Monarchy back. March of the Canonized can help make some flyers as well, and it also is a good way just to get a lot of tokens out at once if you need it, or it can just be a good enchantment to begin with. Muster of the Departed, similar. You can start to populate these 4/4 tokens, right, which having a ton of them on the battlefield definitely helps. And then it also, when it enters the battlefield, you just get a 1/1 in general, so pretty good there. Oketra's Monument, making these white creature spells cost 1 less and giving us tokens when we cast the creature spell, so fantastic. Ultek Matter Weaver also is going to make it so when we cast a creature spell, we're making 1/1s or we're creating tokens as a copy of our other artifact tokens we control. Typically, we're just making 1/1 gnomes. Rabble Rousing, one of the best ones, has Hideaway 5 and it's making a ton of 1/1 tokens. So when we swing in, if we have a few tokens on board, right, and Rabble Rousing's out, if we can get to the 10 creatures after the swing, all our stuff will have flying before blockers are declared, which is pretty nice. Skrell's Hive, also a solid card, giving us 1/1 mites, and because our commander is granting us evasion, can kind of be a sneaky way to end out the game. We also do care about 1/1s a little bit with one of the cards you may have seen in the thumbnail. We'll get to that later. Staff of the Storyteller, just a great way to, it generates a token when it enters, and then you can continuously draw us cards as the turns go on. And then 3 Blind Mice, also a fantastic saga, making tons of copies and then buffing the whole board the 4th turn it's out. So just really solid there. Then the second game plan is blinking everything, of course. Another round, a mass blink spell, which is definitely great. And even if you're only targeting your commander, getting 2 more 4/4s for 3 mana is pretty solid. Cloud Shift, 1 mana drop, Ephemerate, same deal. Flicker of Fate's really good too. Gale Powder Mage is solid. It's sort of on an attack trigger, so a bit slower, but definitely solid there. Eerie Interlude, sort of a protection spell that also blinks. Same with Lyzel's Acrobatics, can do really well there. Teleportation Circle just does it consistently, as well as Golden Argosy, but this doesn't have haste, so you can't do it in the turn it's out unless you have a haste giver. Eternal Wanderer also has some plus sides. It can make tokens, it can blink stuff, and for each, it can also board wipe. So it does everything this deck wants, and it's pretty solid. And then we have 5 cards that we want to be blinking besides our commanders. We don't really need a ton more. Some of the other cards we have in here can have good enter the battlefield triggers too, like Restoration Angel, Salvation Swan. Like, we can target those with the other cards, right? But these are probably the best effects to be doing this with. Aerial Extortionist is removal on the creature. Angelic Aberration. This is the card I was talking about. We want a bunch of 1/1 tokens so that we can, when this enters, sacrifice them and make a bunch of 4/4 flying tokens with Vigilance, which are just way better. So good there. Lauren and Witch Enchanter destroy artifacts and enchantments, and then Silent Titan helps get some of the cheaper creatures out, including our commander if we let our commander go to the graveyard. Then we have some ramp spells, which are really good, and I included the Enter the Battlefield cards that have, catch up or ramp strategies, right? Bays of the Bounding Screen gives us treasure tokens, gives us creature tokens, and draws us cards when it enters, so just, really good value there. Claim Jumper, if we're behind, it gives us planes. White Knight of the White Orchid is the same thing, so does Loyal Warhound, and Solemn Simulacrum does the same thing as well. This isn't a super mana-intensive deck. We want to be catching up. We want to be, using this to even ourselves out with the opponents without having to draw the ramp later in the game. And then I put a category here, Toby's Pajamas. Just some ways to help protect the board. Rootborn Defenses populates, which gives us an extra token, which is nice. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots can protect our commander or another key piece we have, and then Skrelv can help our commander get in as well, which is pretty nice, and also gives him Toxic. So that can be good, and then because the commander sometimes wants to be swinging in with the 4/4 he makes, it can be good there. So I just added these in this little category by themselves. We have lands before some of the next categories. And the main thing I want to point out here is, we have cards like Arid Archway, we have Karoo, and we have Guildless Commons. And the reason we want these in is another way to sort of, activate Beza, Claim Jumper, Knight, and Loyal Warhound. And it's going to help, put us behind in lands technically, while also tapping for double the mana. So that's definitely good there. Value Town, these are good card draw engines, can also be doing more. Benny Brax gives us card draw, easy to cast. Idle Oblivion draws us cards, can make big tokens. Inspiring Leader buffs all of our tokens. Same with Inspiring Virtue, it gives all our tokens +1/+1 in Vigilance. Keeper of the Cord is another card that helps us keep up right if we're behind. Rumor Gatherer helps us draw cards. Securitron Squadron buffs the tokens we have. We can even, if we pay 5 mana into it or even 8 mana into it, we're getting more tokens. Safari Sky's Blade I thought was a fun little include because our tokens are going to be having flying. It's definitely easy to pay 1 mana and tap 4 creatures to cast Safari and then make all our tokens have indestructible, which can definitely be pretty nice as well. Takasha's Welcome draws us cards. Wedding Announcement can draw cards or make tokens, and then Welcoming Vampire draws cards as well. And then, of course, we want removal and board wipes, so Austere Command to get rid of some pesky enchantments, artifacts, really good to destroy creatures with mana value 4 or greater and save all of our tokens, which is nice. Generous Gift gets anything. Getaway Glamour is a blink spell that can double up as a removal spell, which is nice. Heliod's Intervention, solid. Mana Tithe, always fun, especially in a mono-white deck. No one sees it coming, especially early game. Parting Gust, new from Bloomburrow, it's very flexible. You can either use it as a blank spell or a removal spell. Just some really solid options here. White Sun's Twilight, probably another highlight I want to point out here, because you're making a bunch of tokens, and these are the mites that have Toxic as well. So you can move with Infect in this deck, but it's not very likely. We don't run too much Proliferate. It could get you targeted, so you may want to take those cards out if your play group has a bit of Toxic PTSD. But let's just jump into a playtest. And starting off, we have 4 lands, 4 mana drop, 3 mana drop, 6 mana drop. I don't hate this. I don't love this either, but I think this is, kind of on par with what we might see in a game. So let's go ahead and run it out. First turn, we get Cloud Shift, which is much better. We'll go ahead and play Castle Ardenvale. It comes in tapped. And then we'll go to turn 2. We get a Rogue's Passage, which is nice. We'll play the Plains, and we will pass. Turn 3, we get Intangible Virtue. Would have been good to have last turn so we could play that out. But we could just go ahead and tap 3, and if our opponents are way far ahead, maybe we can use Lauren to get rid of a ramp piece, an artifact of theirs. But I say we just play Toby, and we get the 4/4 token. Let's just use... Yeah, let's just use this Angel for now. And then turn 4. Alright, we have another land, so 4 mana. We could cast Benny, but we're not going to be creating a token this turn. We could cast Intangible Virtue and Cloud Shift, which is nice. I think we've cast the Intangible Virtue, right? tap 2, and then we could technically... Oh, why is this not... Tap, there we go. Tap 2 for Intangible Virtue, and then we could cast Benny Brax as well. And then... But I like the Cloud Shift. I think we would probably actually cast the Benny. Getting us card draw is going to be important because we don't have too much stuff in our hand that can do work. So we'll just cast him and pass turn. We draw a Soul Ring, which isn't great. But we will go ahead and pay for it. And then we have 6 mana available. We don't really want to cast Angelic Aberration. We can't get a whole lot off of it right now. But we could Cloud Shift at instant speed. And we can play Lauren. And this, of course, is at anybody's instep, Benny Brax. So when we Cloud Shift on an opponent's turn, if they try to remove Toby or whatnot, then we can get some help there. But just keep up with blockers. When it goes to our instep or our opponent's instep, we will be blinking Toby to getting another 4/4. Technically doesn't have flying yet, so and then we'll be drawing a card with Benny Brax, and then we will go to our next turn. We get a Rogue's Passage, so we can give something unblockable, which is nice. And our tokens are 5/5s now, so that's definitely helpful. I say we go ahead and draw a card with Lauren and let someone else draw a card as well. Wow, another land. Wow. Not doing ideal here. We'll play Idol of Oblivion, and we don't really have a way to draw any more cards or get too much in. Maybe we can start, swinging in. Our tokens do have Vigilance, and they are 5/5, so could definitely be good there. And we might even want to play a Lightning Greaves to give one of them protection, to give Benny protection. So we can draw more cards later down the line. But yeah, this is turn 6, a bit slower than we want, but I think on average some games are going to be taking this long. Let's start another game. Here we have a ramp piece, which is good. A couple of them. I say we keep this. Not a lot of stuff to do, but we can. We have some removal. We can blink our commander with Lae'zel's Acrobatics, which can be helpful. So let's go into it. Turn 1, draw the Rootborn Defenses. We'll play Plains and tap. Next turn, we'll play another Plains and tap 2 for the Marble Diamond. We did not draw another land, which is not a problem. But here we can make a choice. We can play Oltec Matter Weaver or our commander. We actually only have like 14 creatures or so in here, so I think the plan is to play the Oltec Matter Weaver so we can get the cast off of our commander. So let's go ahead and play that, and we'll pass the turn. And we do get a land, which is good. Castle Ardenvale comes in untapped, and we can play 1/2 for Mind Stone, and then 1/2/3 for our commander. When it enters, we will get a 4/4. And a 1/1, just pretend that's a gnome. And basically, now we're off to the races, right? And then next turn, we have Teleportation Circle, which is great. And then we have 1 mana for removal if we need it. And at the end of our turn, we'll blink Toby. And we'll make another 4/4. And we have 1 more token away from getting all our tokens flying. And we just need to cast a creature spell for that, or we can blink stuff next turn. Let's just say we do end up, Swords to Plowsharing someone's creature. If someone boards wipe us, that's fine. We can recast Toby, and we have Teleportation Circle on 9. So unless our opponents deal with this, it is a problem for sure. Next turn, we do get a blank/removal spell, which is nice. And now we can really start going to town. I think just keeping the 3 mana out for Rootborn Princess is fine too. So let's go ahead and pay 2 mana and just blink Toby. We get another 4/4, but that gives the rest of ours flying. So we will go ahead and swing for, 8 or 9, however we want to do it. And then we have 3 mana open for Rootborn Defenses if needed, which gives us another one of these tokens, and definitely solid there. Another game where we're not doing a whole lot, I don't think that's a problem, right? Sometimes you don't want decks that are like super threatening, like they sound like they're doing a lot. Like honestly, in this deck, there's not a whole lot that's your opponents are gonna see, and they're gonna be like, oh, I need to get rid of that, right? There are a few cards that are problems, like Teleportation Circle, right? But that's a pressing enchantment, but you're probably not going to have the most threatening creatures on the board. That's fine, right? We're just going to be building our board state. We have lots of removal. We have lots of value we can get, right? So let's do one last game here. And we have 3 lands again, so let's go for it. Castle Ardenvale, all 3 games. And start with turn 1. The Getaway Glamour again. We'll play Cast an Arnaville to start off. Next turn, Guildless Commons is good, but we don't have any of the ramp. We'll play the Plains, and we can cast nothing. We have removal if we need it, if someone plays their commander early. Next turn, we'll play another Plains. Sure. Cast the commander. Why not? Cast the commander. We add a 4/4. And then turn 4, we are cooking. We play the Mirrex. We can play Archangel Elspeth, which we talked about. We can also play Caretaker's Talent. Leave 1 mana open for Swords to Plowshares. Right? I think we play Archangel Elspeth next turn. That gives us, the Guildless Common we can play as well. And we still have the mana up for this next turn. I think playing this is really important. And whether we want to get damage in, like if our opponent's boards are kind of empty too on turn 4, I would do the -2. I think right now we're okay just doing a +1 to give us another blocker. Right? Give us a little soldier with lifelink. And we're good there. Turn 5, now we're cooking with gas. We have Minas Tirith, so we can play it untapped. We can use this to draw cards. I say we probably go for the Guildless Common, just so we have more stuff to do later. Caretaker's Talent. Yeah, I mean, we could do this, +1 Archangel. Maybe I could have layered this better. I forgot that you only get the copy of a token on the level 2. So maybe last turn we would have -2 to Archangel Elspeth and kept the blocker, or, and then this turn made the soldier and drawn a card, right? So we can do it however we want to, right? We also still have a mana open. We could play Minas Tirith and have a second mana and maybe get a blink spell. I think this is fine, right? Where we, +1, draw a card, or even just -2 and make our commander better. But yeah, definitely a fun deck, a really interesting deck. It seems like it might be one note, but I honestly feel like it plays a little differently. Let me know in the comments below what you'd add to Toby, what you think you'd take out of this deck. I'm always, happy to hear what you guys have to think. So make sure to do that, like and subscribe, so you don't miss out. The pre-con upgrades we're going to be doing for Duskmourn as well. Those are looking to be pretty exciting too. But yeah, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye.